I got into nursing. I always knew I wanted to be a nurse. I knew it from the time I was just old enough to open a Band-Aid and slap it on someone's boo-boo when they were hurt. I was the first one on the scene, and so it was always there. And I got into it, with basically three things in mind. I wanted to serve, and I wanted to see the outcome of whatever I was able to help with be a good one. And I also thought, it's a really good profession to have in case I needed to use it full time to support a family. Should anything happen, it's good to be prepared. And so I was prepared with that. But when I got into it, I love the profession. I do. It's a very worthy profession, and I know all of us on here agree that it speaks to us deep inside, and it's important. But when I got into it, I started getting a little frustrated in that so much of it was symptom management and not enough of it was like, let's help people really get healthy. It started to bother me. And I think that's why I ended up in labor and delivery, because with that, in that department, it wasn't so apparent. It was more, they come, we serve, and we send them home, and 90% of the time it's a happy place to be. And I did it for 12 years. Loved it. And then I had something happen in my life where my marriage ended, and I was a single mom with 4 little kids, and I couldn't do shifts anymore. Couldn't do shifts. 12-hour shifts weren't happening. So I was frustrated then. Here I am. I needed this to help support my family, but I was finding I couldn't do it. And if I took a job elsewhere, it wasn't paying me enough. The money in the hospital and differentials at night were, what I needed, but I couldn't do it. So anyway, long story short, I did a lot of different things, a lot of different types of nursing, trying to make ends meet when I needed that the most. But I ended up trying to stay home as much as I could to be with those kids. I taught piano lessons. I taught voice lessons. I did anything I could. And I worked 2 days a week in a plastic surgeon's office and helped with surgeries there. And I did the best I could. But as time went on, I realized that this was not fulfilling a deep need that I had, that I really wanted to serve people with their health and really make that happen, because I wasn't able to work that way in a hospital setting. And so I remarried, and with that I was blessed with another baby that my husband had from his first marriage, another little child. And then we added one, which we thought, well, we better add another one to help him have someone to grow up with. And then, lo and behold, 7 years later, we got this little bonus. And I was 45 years old. I was working in community nursing at the time. And I had a baby at 45 and put on a bunch of baby weight I didn't plan on. And through that miracle, I found this program. I couldn't get the weight off. I was struggling with chronic headaches. I had some other issues going on, and I couldn't get it off. When I found this program, I realized I felt like I'd cracked the code. I found something that really created health in my life, and I could not keep my mouth shut about it. So it wasn't long before I actually became a coach, and I've been doing it ever since. And it has brought such a deep sense of satisfaction to really be able to help somebody get beyond the symptoms and get to the root of it and help them create that health and the quality of life that they were missing out on. Because truly, you cannot put a price tag on that. That is worth so much. And beyond just the satisfaction of being able to serve, the company we work with is so fantastic. They compensate us so well, like Donnie mentioned, and it's been able to create so many memories for my family. We have 8 kids all together, crazy, thrill-a-minute family, and we've been able to have the things that we've dreamed of and been able to create the memories that we've dreamed of that would have never happened before. And so now I feel like I can do what I wanted to do and be that champion of health and help to create this community where it's hip to be healthy. Like everybody in this family helps each other along, and you can't help but be drawn in because it's contagious. And so I would just encourage you. I mean, I replaced my income over and over and over and over again by doing this. with, you know, my nursing income, and I've never looked back. I keep my license current, you bet. I will never let it lapse because it means that much to me. But I feel like now I'm really able to use what I know to serve. So thanks, guys, so much for having me on tonight. I love this.
You bet. Thanks, Jan. And I'm going to ask you a quick question, Jan, but I'm going to throw up a poll real quick. And this is an anonymous poll. I just want to know kind of where our participants are at in the webinar in terms of what's the area that you'd like to improve right now, because I think it'll be interesting to find out what is the most important thing to most people that are on this webinar. So go ahead and cast your vote. We'll leave that open for another few 30 seconds or so. And while we're doing that, Jan, I want to ask you just a question in terms of what it means to be thriving as a health coach and nurse today in your life. Like, what does thriving mean to you in your world?
Well, thriving to me means that I have control over when I choose to work and when I don't. I didn't have that when I was working in the hospital setting. I loved labor and delivery, but it was costing me my health, really. Nights and weekends and holidays, I didn't have that control. So that was an element of the thriving that I now have control over. And it's because now I do have that control. I can create my life, my schedule around what matters most. So I never have to miss a soccer game. I never have to miss a dance performance. I never have to miss any of that. I work my days out on my terms, and yet I can enjoy what I do. I'm paid well for it. I'm using the skills that I learned in nursing school. I have so much, so many wonderful things about this coaching that I can't even. I know that time is short, so I can't really even tell you all half of them. But it's built around what matters most to me, and that's how I'm thriving.